Welcome to the three-parter Omega stream. And I'm just going to go ahead and just state that this is going to be the, I guess, final part. And the final part had to be split into, um, you know, it will have to be split into just, I don't know, two parts. Because one is based off reacting to an interview from a furry friend of mine. And the other, well, which is just me, quickly just talking about once again the positives and my gripes, and of course some solutions to this particular phantom. So we talked about furs, talked about bronies. Now we're going to go into the big one, the one that helps the economy out a ton with billions of dollars. Sports. I love sports. They're fascinating. They lead to big careers, and I don't know what else could be possibly wrong with this until I did some more research. So here we go. And I gotta say, man, I'm just disgusted. Well, let's get started, shall we? One, the use of of enhancing drugs. I got one question for all these athletes, only the ones that do it. Why? When you literally, are chosen to talk in front of millions of people and you tell them all you have to do is work out and exercise and eat right and you'll be the best athlete like me. And here you are, we learn from others that you are doing enhancement drugs. You're doing all of this to have bigger muscles and to be able to increase your heart rate just so you could win. Look it up. Big sports stars caught using certain drugs just so you can get by. Got kids that look up to you, teenagers, you got furries, bronies, you got adults, wrestling fans. You got so many people that look up to you, and you're doing that. You have no honor. You don't need to do no sports, enhancing drugs. You just need to do what you preach. Work out, sacrifice certain things that you would eat, be on a diet, and exercise more. So, what are you doing taking these type of drugs and supplements? Is it because those are your sponsors and you have to take them? Are you some lab rat? Is it in your contract that you have to take it? Or are you just that desperate that you want all this money and you want to be a star and you have to resort to that? You don't need to do any type of drugs to show and prove that you are the best. You are the best because you work hard and you're dedicated. And you don't have to cheat. You don't need those sports enhancement drugs. You just need to balance out your life. You need to just discipline yourself more. That's all you need. You don't need bigger muscles or any of that. You just need to be the best. And you want to know what's funny? Pro wrestling. So wrestlers, they take anabolic steroids. And because they pretty much stopped those wrestlers from doing that, look at the bodies of these wrestlers when they actually work hard and go to the gym almost every day, and they're running laps and they're pushing themselves. Look at that. They got 2 packs, 4 packs, and they look better. Look at Triple H when he was on anabolic steroids and how he looks now. He looks 10 times better than how he looked back then. You don't need to take this stuff and risk injuring your body in the long run. All you need to do is just take care of yourself. Say no to certain foods. And if you love your burgers and fries, you can still have burgers and fries. Just cook it yourself. Cook it yourself. Have potatoes instead of actual fries. Don't add salt to it. Just add garlic, and there you go. And it's just as healthy. You don't have to go to McDonald's and all these other restaurants that add nothing but extra sugar. That's a treat. Just discipline yourself. That's it. That's it. Tired of hearing these news stories about this wrestler was caught doing illegal drugs. Not this wrestler, but this sports star was caught, doing illegal drugs. This wrestler was caught. It's not even necessary. It's just not. And speaking of which, the sponsors are annoying. These sponsors corrupt these athletes. I gotta win so I can get sponsors. I gotta win. I gotta get sponsors. I gotta win. I gotta win. I gotta. Having all these sponsors doesn't, equate to being a big winner. You have to still focus and exercise and work hard. Stop yourself from being distracted from all the fame and whatnot. You got to know what's important. Your legacy is important. So just realize that. Realize that that's what's more important. Not trying to get all these sponsors and do all this silly drugs. That's just going to hurt you in the long run. You're not thinking long term. You're thinking now. And that's going to hurt you. Let the people talk. Let the people make fun of you. And speaking of which, that's number 3. The fans are toxic. They're very toxic. And I don't mean like, ooh, boo, you suck. I'm talking about, man, like sending death threats. Listen, my teams, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Reds, yeah, boo, and all that stuff. Understandable. But I will acknowledge when they try. But I will never go out my way to talk about, I'm going to send a pipe bomb to their house. Or send, like, threatening emails. Like, come on. Like, it's not that serious. Or, destroy a building, or get into fights with people, or, gambling. Like, is it really worth it? No. It just makes you look horrible as a human being. Your team loses, it's okay to cry and get upset, that's fine, but then afterwards, pick yourself up and move on. You don't know how hard those athletes had to work just to, put on an athletic show for you all. It's not easy. Be more respectful and understanding. Like, you could parody them, you can make a little bit of fun of them, that's fine, but honor when they do right. Honor the fact that they're not on some illicit drugs or, anything that's enhancing like their muscles and stuff that can destroy their body over time. Because they end up being addicted to it and end up destroying their own, their own bodies. Just be happy and honorable with the fact that that they're trying and they're not doing it. They're not doing stuff like that. The wins and losses myth. Yes, sportscasters are going to talk about, oh, this team won, this team lost, but they don't really matter. What matters is your athleticism. What matters is that you're healthy. What matters is that you're alive. What matters is that you're able to go above and beyond and push past your limits. Winning is great. Losing, in my opinion, is better because you learn so you can win. But no one seems to understand that. Now, of course, the no-name stars, like the stars that are named, but a lot of people don't know who they are, they understand this. But the big stars are like, I gotta win, I gotta win, I gotta win, and they just ruin it for everyone. All the sacrifices they probably made, probably all the teammates that they probably disrespected, just so they can win, 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 win. Well, winning isn't everything. It never was everything. You gotta snap out of that. You have to. They're always distracted with these interviews and these parties and stuff like that, and that's what constitutes to the wins and losses. The distractions are plenty, and it's bad. Let these athletes train in peace. Let them spend time with their families. Let them accept the wins and losses, so they don't feel like they would have to go to these lengths to do these illicit drugs or try to get all these sponsors. They're human. They're not, robots that could just perform for people and that's it. They're human beings. Root for them, cheer for them, believe in them, help them. Please don't push them to that lifestyle. And don't let them be distracted. They need to focus. And stop always comparing them to their stats. Yes, their stats may have been bad this year, but their stats can improve if they have the right amount of training. The right amount of training equals they're going to do the same thing. How can we, how can they prove? They exercise more, work out more, and listen to their dietitians and their doctors. And they need to stop worrying about sports enhancing drugs. Just go out there and do your best. If you can't run as fast, work on your stamina. Can't lift as much, work on, your strength. Work on your strength training. But you don't need to have a freaking steroid induced body just to win. The Legion Bolt didn't do that. That's all hard work, baby. I would hope so. Just have that passion to just be better than yourself. And you're going to continue to have that passion grow bigger and bigger. Do not make your career like pro wrestling. You are a real life human being. The highlights and stuff are cool and all that stuff, but you don't need rivalries. You don't need to stir up drama. You don't need to do all that. This is not pro wrestling. It's real life. Stop it. It's cool to admire the wrestlers, but you don't need to do that. Unless you are a professional and you know what you're doing, fine. But don't, go overdo it, You don't have to be trying to be entertaining. You're trying to win. So you need to focus on that. You can have a character, that's fine, but you need to make sure that your character matches who you are. Or you're going to lose, 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 lose. And lose, and lose, and lose. This is why I just stick to the statistics and I just root for these stars. And it's overrated to have a favorite team. So tired of that. So annoying. But if you think that's annoying, as much as I really like sports, well, here's pro wrestling. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's go ahead and get this over with real quick, shall we? Pro wrestling. One of my biggest gripes that I had is that there's too many promotions, but thank goodness for the fact that Vince McMahon finally stepped down due to all the allegations and whatnot. Triple H has finally fixed this where, hey, you can now state the name of promotions. So TNA can state WWE. This company can state this. It's okay now. The curse is broken. You can now finally state the name of the promotions that you're a part of. You can now use your theme song and go, to another promotion. First, of course, you have to talk to the boss about it first, but that used to be a gripe, but now that's been fixed. So thank goodness that is taken care of. Egos. Egos are a problem. Um, One person said it best in their Indeed review, and they used to work for WWE, or just, yeah, it's WWE in general, but this is pretty much an issue with any pro wrestling company. The egos disrupt and can destroy anything it touches. You think that you're better and whatnot, you can destroy long term friendships and relationships because, oh, you just got to be better than that person. Stop it. Be more humble. Learn from wrestlers. If you made a mistake, it's okay. Embrace botchamania. Botchamania is funny. Stop trying to take down botchamania. If you made a mistake, you made a mistake. It's okay. Stop being all emotional and whatnot about because you made a mistake. Laugh about it. Set boundaries and whatnot. I get it, but just embrace it. You don't have to be terrible to your fans. You don't have to, act like you're the best. Just be your character, have fun, and just enjoy yourself. Like Rey Mysterio said in the interview that even though he was supposed to, like, we were out there having fun. Yeah, because fighting and beating the snot out of one another can be fun. Agreed. Especially if it's a rivalry. It's always fun. Let them have fun. Let them enjoy themselves. Because they're having fun. They're enjoying what they're doing. Guess what? The crowd is going to have fun. And speaking of the crowd is always confused. You want to know why the crowd boos and cheers? They don't know what they're doing. They're just going along with what's going on with the story. They boo, they cheer and boo, or they just boo the wrong person, they cheer for the right person, or they cheer for the wrong person, or they boo the wrong. Because they don't know. There's no direction. There never was direction. And Jim Cornette, you can check out his YouTube channel. He pretty much explains the psychology of the fans as to why they boo and cheer and boo. Most of them just don't know. There's your answer. They just don't know. They don't know who to cheer for. They don't know the boo. Boo. It's with me with the women wrestlers. I never knew who to cheer for or to boo. I didn't know who was a heel or a face. Never knew. So I just cheer for them both. Even in today's age of day and age of wrestling, pro wrestling. I don't know who to cheer for. I don't know who to boo. So I just cheer and boo whoever I want. Oh, everyone's booing this person. Oh, obviously there must be a bad heel. It's just I don't know. Like, are they gonna be a heel forever? The storylines are always wonky. It's worse than TNA though. But TNA's gotten better over the years. But it's just, oh my goodness, these storylines. Hey, here's a new wrestler. You introduce them, and then they get buried, or they get pushed, and then you don't hear from them again after a year. The storylines always just seem to tumble on top of themselves because there's no direction anymore. So it's just eh. Hey, look at WrestleMania, and they won, and they need to do a better job with stories. Like, you don't need to hire like script writers. It's just common sense. If A happens because of B, then B should be the result of A, which equals that A and B should fire. A and B should have a feud. And based on the actions of A or B, scripted or not scripted, should determine who wins. So easy, right? It's not, because it can be complicated. But it's funny how a lot of storylines that I see screw this up every time. Every single time. And it's just, oh, you wanted this wrestler to win? Well, we're going to make sure that this wrestler wins instead. Just baffling. The word is just baffling. How you fix this? Well, trial and error. There is no fix. If you screw up the story, you either fix it or it's just a dud. And a lot of these storylines should have never been blunders and failures to begin with. It's just there was no plan B, no plan C, or anything, so people just did whatever they want. No direction, no anything. The Shockmaster, that could have been great. They could have played along, and it could have still been amazing. But nope. They turned it into a meme, and hey, the Shockmaster ended up embracing that meme. But me personally, I would have found a way to still make it great. I could have turned to a storyline where the person tripped over the person and said, I ruined your debut, and made the Shockmaster one of the best wrestlers ever. That could have been a great storyline, saying, no, I didn't want you stealing my spotlight. It would have been interesting. But no. Let's not do that. Let's just, we're just going to embrace this. And that's fine, but it's like, it could have been done so much better. Yeah, the storylines are always going to have its issues. It's just whatever. It's whatever, honestly. So, people that used to say stuff like going back to the fans thing about, the fans suck and all that. No, the fans are just confused. You have to lead and guide your fans on what is it that they like and don't like because they can't think for themselves. Some of them just can't. And to the fans, just to be honest, it's hard to. You don't know what's going on. Who am I supposed to cheer for? I know what Sting is, but he's fighting MJF. Who am I supposed to cheer for? Guide me. Show me through y'all moves. Show me through the signature. Show me through y'all trash talking each other. Oh, this is a heel, this is a face. That's how you do it. But it's hard to do it. It's hard to determine if everyone is doing everyone's special moves and everyone's kicking out of this move and everyone. It's like, how are you telling a story? The only time a wrestler should be doing all of that is if the rivalry lasted just as long as Sting and Ric Flair. Jim Cornette's right about that. And then the whole, oh my goodness, this wrestler kicked out of this special move and this special move. It's predictable. And it makes it look silly and cartoonish. Oh my goodness, a super kick and this super kick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, Here's this spot. Stop it. Tell a story, do your wrestling, and don't make it so predictable. Want to know why the Edge and Randy Orton, match was titled This is the Great Show? Because they know the ring psychology. They knew how to get people, grab people. Two faces, right? Going at it. Being amazing. Knowing what they're doing. It didn't matter who won or lost. They told a story through their wrestling moves. And it was amazing. Setting a precedent for the indie wrestlers who know how to wrestle, but just remind them, hey, this is how you tell a story. John Cena's 5 Moves of Doom told a story. It's a story. Hulk Hogan's limited moveset told a story. The Great Iron Sheik, rest his soul, told a story. Indie wrestlers, doing all these moves to try to get a pop, that's not telling a story, that's just catering. You got to get out of catering and actually tell a story. You got to have special moves. You got to have something. You got to get people excited. Or it's just not going to work. Or you're just going to be some wrestler that just like the rest of them. And it's difficult. And I feel for these wrestlers. And I love every single one of them. But if they really want people to be invested, you got to tell a story. It's work. You got to do it. You got to have signatures. I still love wrestling. But that's one of the biggest problems. And the fans are justified in their critiques. Let me say this one more time. There is no right or wrong answer to any of these fans, whether they like the show, whether they rant about the show like JD Network, or they have a huge, hate rage boner against a certain. They're not wrong. They are just expressing themselves because it's out of confusion. When you pay close attention to what these wrestling commentators, like these fans, are saying, right? The ones that talk behind the scenes, pay attention. They're confused. And you want to know what's funny? This build-up to WrestleMania 41 has been confusing. Probably one of the most confusing build-ups ever. Charlotte Flair against Tiffany Stratton? What? CM Punk's main event in WrestleMania? That's cool, but what? Not Jey Uso? Like, huh? He's the Royal Rumble winner. Shouldn't the Royal Rumble winner main event WrestleMania? I'm sorry, like, that's usually how it was. So, huh? It's just, what? Doesn't make any sense. It's just silly. So, yeah, the anger comes from the confusion. The silence comes from, not knowing what to do. You have to guide your fans. The commentary has to do along with the wrestlers. And if it doesn't flow together like a beautiful symphony, then yeah, so in a way, Kenny Omega's right. It is like a play. Everyone has their part. It's just the way how he said it just kind of frustrated some fans. But I get what he meant. It has to be orchestrated, or it's not going to flow well. And that's how you're going to have fans booing and cheering the heels, booing the faces, because they're confused. You have to inform your audience through your storytelling of what's happening, or they're going to be confused. And it's work. And it doesn't have to be extremely choreographed and predictable. Surprises are good. Too many surprises just lead to the fans leading to more predictability. Does that make sense? The controversies, the shoots, the pipes, they need to be used sparingly. If there's too many controversies and too many pipe bombs and too many this, it just shows a company that's just being sloppy. Like, if the wrestler has issues with this wrestler, have them do the pipe bomb in the ring, not outside of the ring. What's done in the ring should be done in the ring. If they're going to do it outside the ring, then it needs to be done in a way where it still makes sense. Like, have the two wrestlers that don't like each other be in an actual UFC fight. Don't be trained by martial arts. That would be cool to see. I mean, I remember that they did this before with like the Underground Fight Club. So that was pretty cool. But of course that got canned because the ratings were low. Again, because where does this lead to? There's no story. There's no build-up. So yeah, people lost interest. The 24/7 championship. Again, no story, no build-up. So people just lost interest. This WrestleMania 41. The stories are there, but the build-up is all over the place. So people just don't care. You can't make people care about something if there's barely any build-up. There's a build-up to Jey Uso and Walter because it makes sense. The build-up here with all these other matches is just kind of, okay. It's great, but it's like, it's great that we see these matches, but the build-up just, TNA's guilty of this. AEW's been guilty of this. And I agree with Jim Cornette on one thing about this. The secrets being revealed, no. Only certain secrets should be revealed. If everything's revealed, then it kind of loses its charm. And it's like what he said, the magic's just not gone. Because now the secrets have been exposed. Like, why? Wrestling, pro wrestling is a beautiful art. And if everything is just constantly exposed or talk about, it just makes the product feel dull and we all know that it's fake and scripted, but it's like you still want people to believe that it's somewhat real because it is. It's just, but what can I really say? The community is the way it is because they're confused. And they keep saying they want things back. They want things to be back to the way it was because it made sense. Pay attention to a lot of these WWE rants, these AEW rants, these TNA rants. Pay attention. It's all just out of confusion. They don't want to hate this. They want to love it, but they can't because there's no direction. And instead of, having actual stories built, it's always just surrounded by, oh, this happened in this company. Well, how do you expect X, Y, and Z amount of fans to know about this wrestler, that this, and the history that they had with this, promotion when there's barely any build up to it? It's just silly. And that's why people just kind of stop caring about wrestling because they're not going to bother explain anything. Heck, there's still NXT wrestlers that I still don't know who they are. AEW wrestlers, I still don't know who they are. TNA wrestlers, I still don't know who they are. It's bigger than the characters. The characters are there. It's just there's no story behind them. People keep talking about, oh, these characters lack personality. No, it's there. It's just the story is barely being told. And I'm not talking about like story like dramatic. I'm talking about like story through the like how the wrestlers just interact with one another. New Japan Pro Wrestling does this almost perfectly, where the wrestlers are telling a story not just through their words but through their martial arts and their wrestling. Strong style. A story's being told. It's built up. And yes, they do take elements from WWE will not be entertaining, but at the same time, a story is being told. And don't get me wrong, it's fun to see, certain stories that are pretty much just decent or just all right. But if you want something that's going to really mesh well, you got to build it up. You got to build it up. The surprises have to make sense, or it's just a surprise. Want people to care? Start telling the story. And the last issue that I have when it comes to this community or just pro wrestling in general, and this is a big one. It's trying to be like NASCAR. Stop trying to be like NASCAR. Stop trying to have all these ads and sponsors. It destroys the flow of pro wrestling. Yes, it is needed to, make your money. I get all of that. But what about the ones sitting at home that can't afford to go to these shows? Or they can't because of work? How is that fair to them? So they got to sit through all these commercials. And there's not even an option for people to just simply not watch them. Like, hey, here, pay this so you don't have to watch it. There's no option. So you have to sit through all of these commercials and you miss out because, oh, you didn't pay. Well, sorry, there's not even an option for that. Bonus round. is those that defend set mishaps of certain wrestlers because they love them so much. Call out when these wrestlers screw up, or if they're doing something they're not supposed to do, or they got caught doing, you know, a certain drug. Call them out so you can help them in the long run. You want these wrestlers to live for a long time, right? Well, make sure you catch them in the act. They do something wrong, catch them in the act. Don't excuse it. They're human just like the rest of us. So there you go. Um, I can be all day about my gripes and the positives with the wrestling community, but I think I pretty much hit some major parts, and hopefully it makes sense. If I missed any, just type below in the comments. But the wrestling community, I'll give you this: it's a lot more stable than the two communities that I talked about. Definitely a lot more stable. It's a lot more welcoming. Yeah, you got people that will like debate you and they take it too seriously. Some even act like the wrestlers. Some even actually do things like the wrestlers IRL. You know, some do it out of a joke, and then you got others that actually feel like they are the wrestlers. And I get it. You know, you're gonna have those type of fans. I get it. I get it. But wrestling fans just need to understand that the reason why they do all this is because of confusion. They're just confused. They have no idea, and they need the wrestlers to just step up to the plate and just guide them on what is happening. The storylines make more sense if the characters make more sense, and it's not just you know cheap pops. We can actually get something going here. But until then, when it comes to sports, the community is always going to be, depending on who it is or what you're dealing with, it's always going to be not toxic, but it's just going to always be like rowdy and loud. And it's rare to like actually find calm sports fans. And when it comes to pro wrestling fans, it's going to always be overly enthusiastic over something that's scripted. And that could be good or bad depending on how you see it. But love the passion. Gotta love how much they really value these wrestlers and the respect that they show for when their time comes. So pro wrestlers, man, like the fans, they are truly a spectacle to behold. As long as they're not doing anything to the extreme, like as long as they're not trying to send death threats to the wrestlers just because this happened, then let them talk. Let them say what they must. John Cena said it best himself. They pay their tickets. They are allowed to boo and cheer who they want. But at the same time, someone should also tell John Cena that it's the responsibility of the wrestlers to guide the fans on what it is that they need to do while not really telling them what to do. It will come organically. They'll know who to boo. They'll know who to cheer because the wrestlers are just that good at their job. So both communities need a lot of work, and there's really no um, cure for some of their misbehaviors. You just gotta lead by example. So they're gonna forever be like this. So, and that's not always a bad thing, but it is a bad thing if someone's life's in danger. Sports, pro wrestling, lots of differences, but similar issues. And that's pretty much my major gripes that I have with not just sports fans, but pro wrestling fans in the community. Will it get better? No. But is it still entertaining to see? Yes. Stay tuned for the final part of what is it? The Strange Week of History, part 3.5, where I will react to fun times interviews. But this will be after I work out and after I cut the grass. So with this, I bid you all a good night. Thank you for tuning in, and I shall see you all later on. Pro wrestling community, sports community, Godspeed. And I love y'all. And to the stars and to the wrestlers, take better care of yourselves. Y'all got families.